As one of the flagship robotics research conferences worldwide, the IEEE RSJ International Conference on Intelligent Robots and Systems brings together an international community of researchers, educators, and world-leading roboticists to explore the frontier of science and technology in intelligent robots and systems. In this 35th anniversary event of its history, IROS 2022 will explore a wide range of topics from assistive and social robots to future autonomous systems to the philosophy of robotics research and so much more. And you can catch it all here on IROS TV. Hello and welcome back to IROS TV and Tuesday here at IROS 22 in Kyoto. I hope you've been enjoying all the live sessions and hearing from experts across the field of robotics. For this episode, we'll have a special focus on how robots and AI can complement humans, reshape industries, and serve society. Today, we speak to Shigeo Hirose about the role of hyper-environmental robots. We get insights into game-changing applications of AI-enabled wireless sensing. We'll stop by Impaired Lab at Cornell University, CVSSP Robot Lab and Surrey Institute for People-Centered AI, and Ingenuity Labs at Queen's University, Canada. And finally, we hear from influential women in engineering about the importance of inclusion and representation in the field. But first, we have a very special feature with plenary speaker Dr. Chieko Asakawa. Dr. Asakawa, who lost her eyesight at the age of 14, has dedicated the past 3 decades to researching and developing new technologies to help transform the lives of the visually impaired.
When I was 11 years old, I hit my left eye on the side of a swimming pool. And by the age of 14, I became totally blind. And when I became blind, I faced 2 major obstacles for the blind. One was obtaining information. In those days, there were no personal computers, no internet, no smartphones, so I couldn't read any book by myself. Another difficulty was mobility. I couldn't go anywhere by myself. That became my strong need and pushed me and ignited me to innovate new technologies. Now my research focus is the development of AI Suitcase. So the idea of the AI Suitcase came from my own personal experiences. I travel alone with a suitcase frequently. And one day I noticed it's very difficult to carry a suitcase and white cane together at the airport. So I thought if we can integrate AI, perception, control, and planning into a suitcase, it's going to be my new travel companion. We just hold a handle of the suitcase and the suitcase robot will take us to the destination. It means we can enjoy surroundings, like, oh, it's a nice weather today, or oh, I can hear the good music, I don't have to worry if someone is, coming in front of me, or oh, there might be some trash can in front of me, We don't have to worry anything about related to collision. So it will change our mobility experiences. In the future, we see lots of robots helping people with disabilities. In this way, we can narrow the gap between people with disability and people without disability. And I hope a robot like AI Suitcase will contribute to narrow the gap to realize diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Imagine having an itch but being unable to scratch it, or needing a drink of water but waiting for your caregiver to offer it. These are some of the activities of daily life that are deeply challenging for people with mobility disorders and motivations for building robots at the Impaired Lab at Cornell.
I'm Tapo Mayug Bhattacharjee. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science in the Bowers College of Computing and Information Science here at Cornell University. Robotics is a big field, right? And we are particularly focusing on robotic caregiving. What I mean by robotic caregiving is robots as external agents that are nearby some assistive devices, such as mounted on a wheelchair or mounted on a hospital bed, and helping people to do tasks that they otherwise wouldn't be able to do. So it's not really restoring the functionality of a limb or something like that, it's just assisting them towards doing those activities. There are some labs in the whole world that work on this, and people have started getting promising results, including our own lab, but it's still far from actually helping somebody in their real homes for long-term caregiving solution. And that motivates us to keep working on this area.
Remember, you can watch IROS TV here at the Kyoto International Conference Center. Find us on the IROS 2022 website and on social media. I'm now joined by Professor Shigeo Hirose, Director of the Hyper-Environmental Robots Lab, also known as the HERO Lab. Thanks for joining us today. What role is HERO Lab playing in robotics right now?
Well, main target is decommissioning task of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear reactor. As maybe you know, there's a big accident and the radiation level is very high, so human workers cannot enter. So we need a very sophisticated robot system to do the decommissioning task.
What unique work are you doing in designing and building these robots?
Global view of the task is that one is a very long robot arm, which should be entered into a small hole connected to the center of the nuclear reactor. And we want to take some samples of the debris. Another one is one which moves around shallow water. The water to cool down the nuclear reactor is stored at the basement of the building, and we have to collect the sand, and that robot moves around by using the crawler and a float. So these are other unique features.
And what systems are required to ensure that these robots can operate in extreme conditions such as high temperature, high levels of radiation, and difficult terrain?
Reliability of the mechanism is the most important. Once it is inside the nuclear reactor, people cannot enter to repair something if it's broken. So we have to always be very reliable, and it can be very easy to teleoperate.
And when and where can we expect these robots to be deployed in the future?
Well, maybe a few years later, we already made several prototypes, and it will be entered. And I think it takes 40 or 50 years. So for a few generations, our robot will be developed for that task.
And what are some of the main points that you'll be highlighting in the plenary session on robot research and development?
I'm going to talk about the creative design of the robot. There are 3 points. One is to make fast. We always have to make the robot. It's a study of synthesizing the object, and to making give us lots of hint and also some useful knowledge about the science. And another one is I made the word non-verbal thinking. We have to think by words, but that narrow our perspective of the design thinking. So we propose to think by object itself. And third one is the minimization in robotics. We always try to make the robot complicated, but minimize the mechanism is extremely important, and I'll talk about these 3 points.
Thank you so much for joining us. The future of robotics requires robotic agents that can not only see, hear, and understand the world around them, but can also act upon that knowledge. This is the vision at the Robot Lab at the University of Surrey's Center for Vision, Speech, and Signal Processing.
You can't disentangle AI and people. future of robotics is embedded in every aspect of life. In the 90s, the Centre for Vision, Speech and Signal Processing was born. CS Rankings rates CVSSP as #1 in computer vision in the UK.
The Robot Lab is one of the fundamental building blocks of CVSSP. What we do is we take everything that CVSSP does and we deploy it on robots.
The focus of the Robot Lab is our core expertise in machine learning, perception, autonomous systems, and we apply that very broadly. We create robots that can see, hear, and understand the world around them, and then act on that.
We're trying to design robots that are ethical, that work with people, and that's why we sit at the center of the Institute for People-Centered AI.
We are at the forefront pushing the research around perception, at the same time with the focus of improving people's lives. I don't think you get better than that.
Joining me now is Professor Ray Liu, the president of IEEE, to discuss the challenges, applications, and future of wireless sensing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So tell us about wireless sensing. How does it work?
Wireless sensing is about using the existing ambient wireless wave among us, not just for communication, but we can use that to detect human motion, human activity, in order to make our life better.
Can you tell us in detail about exactly how it works?
For example, when nobody at home, your Wi-Fi can become a sensor. And then when suddenly some people show up, we can detect the motion that can provide security for our home. And if you are sleeping, we can pick up your breathing. From there, we can monitor your sleeping to determine it's a good sleep or not good. For elder person, that when they have a fall, we can detect if there's a fall or not. Most importantly, there are many children die inside a hot car. They die because their parents forgot them. So we can use the Wi-Fi, existing Wi-Fi inside a car to detect any children forgot in the car. No children need to die in a hot car. It is that powerful.
Wow, yeah, and such a wide range of uses
Yes.
as well. And how is AI used in wireless sensing?
We all say Alexa is AI because it makes sense of speech. Face recognition, computer vision, makes sense of video and image. We, wireless sensing, we make sense of radio, ambient radio wave. So that is an AI. But in order to make sense this radio ambience, this radio wave, we need to have some analytic algorithm to be able to understand it. That is the AI.
I see, thank you. And what are the potential game-changing applications for this technology?
This technology is a game changer. We don't need to wear anything, not wearable. Ambient radio wave is among us. From there, we can protect our life, we can improve our life, and by the way, we can even navigate and track people indoor. The application is unlimited. Just for example, recently, my company working with this light bulb company. Light bulb is everywhere. It can provide energy management. And also the light bulb everywhere can be used to monitor and improve our life. It will be an endless game changer.
Wow, it does sound like it. And there's a lot of promise in wireless sensing technology, but what are some of the obstacles to overcome?
The main obstacle is this. This is a technology that is so new. When you have a new technology, people are afraid of it, especially the privacy issue. When we have a new technology, it offers a game-changing application. Nevertheless, it also comes with some ethical issue. How can we, at the same time, when we improve life, we also protect privacy? And we will not intrude privacy. So that is something that we need to educate the user. This is safe. It's even better than camera because we are not watching.
I see. And finally, how is IEEE contributing to the development of a sustainable symbiotic city?
All right. Look, when we have a new technology, in order for that to be used worldwide, we need a standard. So I have been talking to IEEE, a standard organization, to start this a new standard on wireless sensing. So indeed, IEEE is working with many companies around the world to create a standard for wireless sensing. When that comes, wireless sensing will be just like wireless communication, will be everywhere, and that can improve life everywhere all over the world.
Wow. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Ingenuity Labs at Queen's University combines research in robotics, AI, and human-machine interaction to create intelligent systems and machines that enhance human productivity, safety, performance, and quality of life. Let's take a look.
Ingenuity Labs is a multidisciplinary, collaborative, and open research institute here at Queen's, focused on the development of new technologies, new tools around the use of AI, robotics, and human-machine interaction.
It's really important that we're studying these issues alongside other researchers, because without their perspectives, we're not able to conduct the sort of research that is important to those fields.
My favorite thing about working at Ingenuity Labs is that opportunity to collaborate. I get to collaborate with people and learn more about how I can solve my research goals, and we can all work together to solve problems that perhaps we wouldn't have been able to work on before.
Our ultimate objective is, of course, to make people's lives safer, more productive, more equitable through the design and use of the technologies that we create.
And finally, we stopped by the Women in Engineering Forum yesterday and spoke to leaders in the field about the importance of diversity, inclusion, and empowerment of women in robotics.
So being IEEE member, so we can learn a lot of things about diversity and inclusion and equality. This is a very useful advantage to being an IEEE member. Currently, social problem is really complicated. And even in robotics field, we have to consider diversity and inclusion and ethics and so on, so to solve the social problems.
We wanted to have a Women in Engineering Forum at IROS to listen from the voices of the women in our society. We also wanted to listen from the audience, so we tried to see what is the perception of the status of women in the society, and we also showed some data that were somehow unexpected, so there was a nice discussion on not only the status but what we see in the future for the role of women in robotics and automation.
Actually, I think it is improving. So, however, still the gender ratio in IEEE is almost 15% all over the world, and we should increase the number of the female engineers. So therefore, we have to encourage young generations to join IEEE and engineering field and work together.
I think that if they're passionate, there is not much that is needed, because passion is really the main driver. We heard this from many voices on the stage today. It's really the main driver for women to pursue a career. It is probably just the same for everybody to pursue a career. So passion is the first thing. Hard work we heard, and of course we don't want discrimination, but I don't think this is a major problem if women really want to pursue their ambitions, their expectations, their dreams. So I think this is what is really important.
I would say that the important thing is to show your passion, and this is unstoppable. As long as you have passion, nothing can stop you. You will see that there are a lot of things you can do to help everybody in society, and with your passion, you will do it, no matter what. From my point of view, I think that showing the results, the practical results of what you do is the best way of inspiring girls, because we are very interested in applications that have an impact on society. So I think showing this, the potential of robotics in general, engineering in general, is a good way of convincing and making it more attractive for women.
First of all, half of the population are women, right? So there is no point to exclude women from discussing something innovative. So I think that the female perspective is very important if you want to make a contribution to society. So I have a message to encourage girls. So being a different is not a bad thing, and you don't need to imitate role models. You can be yourself, and you can do whatever you are dreaming of.
Well, that brings us to the end of our second show here at IROS 2022. Join us tomorrow for more, though, as we hear from the founder of Boston Dynamics, Mark Raybert, about the culture of robotics research and see highlights from the Dialogue Robot Competition. We'll see you then.